Music, the way you speak to your soulmate, is not just communication, it is creation. Each word you choose shapes the energy between you. If you speak with impatience, you create distance. If you speak with awareness, you create harmony. A high-value woman does not speak to be loud or to be right. She speaks to nurture connection, to guide energy, and to strengthen love. This is not about saying more, but about saying wisely. Consider this. Your words are either building a bridge to your soulmate or quietly burning it. Which are you doing today? When you sit in silence and simply listen, you begin to realize that every word we speak has weight. It does not vanish into nothingness. It lingers in the heart of the person who receives it. It vibrates in the atmosphere, and it shapes the relationship in ways that are often invisible. This is why those who carry inner value are careful with their speech, not because they are afraid to be heard, but because they understand the subtle energy that words carry. A word of encouragement can make someone rise from despair. A careless insult can stay with a person for years. In the same way that we would not place dirty water into the cup of someone we love, a high-value woman does not pour out words filled with bitterness or unnecessary harm into the heart of her soulmate. She chooses her words with the same care as she would choose what she feeds to her body, because she knows that what is spoken nourishes or poisons both the relationship and the soul. Consider how a garden grows. Every seed planted eventually breaks the soil, even if it takes time. Words are like seeds. If the words are of appreciation, patience, and clarity, they grow into trust and safety. If they are careless, filled with blame or mockery, they grow into thorns that make closeness painful. In training, when we practice movements again and again, we are not only learning the technique, but also planting patterns in the body. The body remembers, so too does the heart. It remembers the tone and intention of our speech. When the energy is respectful, it builds a memory of safety. When it is harsh, it builds a memory of caution. Ask yourself, what kind of memory do you want your partner to carry in their heart after speaking with you? A simple example can be seen in daily life. Imagine a man comes home tired after a long day. If he hears the words, "Why are you always late? You never think of me?" the weight of those words pushes him further into exhaustion. But if he hears, "You must have worked very hard today. Sit and rest. I saved something for you," suddenly the energy of the room shifts. Nothing dramatic has changed, only words. Yet one type of word weakens while the other restores. A high-value woman understands this difference and uses it with intention. The action to practice here is simple. Before speaking, pause for a breath and ask, what energy am I planting with these words? This short reflection prevents many unnecessary wounds. Now, it is important to understand that the power of speech does not lie only in what is said, but also in what is not said. There is a deep wisdom in learning the pause before response. The world trains us to react quickly. We are encouraged to give an opinion, to defend ourselves, to reply instantly, but stillness teaches another rhythm. The pause is like a bridge. When you wait a moment before answering, you give yourself space to return to awareness. You make sure that your words come from clarity instead of agitation. It is the same as in martial practice. A strike delivered without balance exposes you to weakness. But if you breathe, steady your stance, and then move, your action carries strength and precision. Think of a conversation where someone says something that stings. The natural impulse is to reply immediately, often with equal force. But if you pause, you may notice that their words are not truly about you. Maybe they are tired, maybe they are afraid. In the space of a few breaths, compassion has time to appear. That small delay allows you to choose a response that maintains dignity rather than one that inflames conflict. Consider this. How many arguments in your life could have been softened or avoided if you had allowed yourself 3 seconds of silence before replying? Those 3 seconds are a gift you give both to yourself and to your partner. A story from training illustrates this well. There was once a student who always rushed into sparring. The moment the signal began, he would attack wildly, throwing his energy in every direction. He lost his balance easily, and his strikes lacked power. Another student, more patient, would wait, watching carefully, breathing steadily. At the right moment, one calm movement ended the exchange. The impatient student asked the master, "Why do I always lose?" The master replied, "Because you confuse speed with wisdom. You rush to move before you are ready. Learn to pause, and your action will carry the strength of stillness." The same lesson applies to speech. Do not confuse quickness with wisdom. Let silence ripen your words. To practice this in daily life, create a small ritual when you feel emotion rising and your tongue eager to speak. Take a single breath before answering. If needed, take 3. Notice how much changes in those moments. What seemed urgent often dissolves, and what remains is clarity. This is not about suppressing your voice, but about giving your voice depth. Ask yourself, do I want my words to come from reaction or from awareness? This practice, repeated again and again, trains the heart to choose stillness over agitation. When a woman of inner value speaks, she also understands that not every thought needs to become sound. There is strength in choosing words as carefully as a craftsman chooses tools. Many words dilute the power of speech. Imagine adding water to tea again and again. Eventually the flavor is lost. In the same way, speaking without measure weakens the essence of what you are trying to share. High-value communication is not about saying much, but about saying what is needed with clarity and intention. Consider how we experience silence during training. When practicing forms, there is no need to add unnecessary gestures. Every movement has purpose. If we start adding random flourishes, the form loses its strength. The same applies to speech. If you speak only what is necessary, your words carry weight. They are remembered. But if you constantly talk, repeating the same points or filling the space with chatter, your words become like background, no noise. They no longer reach the heart. Think of a partner who constantly hears endless complaints, endless small criticisms, endless demands. Even if the words are not cruel, the sheer volume wears down the spirit. Compare this to hearing a few words spoken with clarity. "I need your help. I feel unseen." Such words are direct, respectful, and easier to respond to. Excessive speech confuses, but focused speech opens a path forward. This is why high-value women do not waste energy in endless explanations or dramatic outpourings. They understand that self-discipline in speech creates peace in relationship. A small exercise for this is to practice saying less each day. When you feel the urge to explain yourself at great length, pause and ask, "What is the essence of what I want to say?" Then speak only that essence. Notice how your partner receives it more fully. Notice how the energy in the conversation remains calm instead of scattered. This practice not only strengthens communication, but also trains the mind to be disciplined, and discipline in speech is a reflection of discipline in life. So reflect when you speak. Do your words nourish or deplete? Do they arise from silence or from haste? Do they carry clarity or confusion? In each moment you have the power to choose. Words are not just sounds. They are carriers of energy, bridges of connection, and seeds of the future. When spoken with awareness, they build trust, intimacy, and peace. When spoken carelessly, they can weaken even the strongest bond. Ask yourself quietly, if my partner could describe the energy of my words, what would they say? Would they say, "My words feel like shelter, like encouragement, like warmth"? Or would they say, "My words feel heavy, sharp, or endless"? This awareness is not meant to create guilt, but to awaken responsibility. The way you speak reflects the state of your heart, and the state of your heart shapes the life you live together. In this way, high-value women do not speak from a place of habit. They speak from awareness. They know that every word plants a seed, every pause strengthens wisdom, and every disciplined choice of language keeps the heart aligned with love. Speech becomes not just a tool for expression, but a path of practice, a way to embody inner stillness and strength in daily life. When you pay attention to the way someone speaks, you can feel more than just the meaning of their words. You can sense their state of being. A strong heart does not need to shout, and a gentle voice does not mean weakness. True value is found in the balance between softness and strength. When a woman speaks to the one she loves, her tone reveals the depth of her emotional maturity. Harsh words may seem powerful in the moment, but they cut away trust over time. A calm and steady voice, even when speaking firmly, preserves connection while communicating truth. Imagine water flowing over stone. It is not loud. It does not need to be aggressive, yet over time it shapes even the hardest surface. A woman who understands this principle knows that she can carry strength in her heart without turning her voice into a weapon. Consider a moment when a disagreement arises in a relationship. One person raises their tone, full of frustration, demanding to be heard. The other mirrors this energy, and soon both voices collide. Nothing is resolved, and both are left exhausted. Now picture the same situation, but with one person choosing a calm voice, steady but firm. The words may still express hurt or boundaries, but the delivery carries respect. The partner may not agree immediately, but they will feel the difference. Instead of building a wall of defense, the calm voice opens a window to reflection. This is the power of gentle strength in communication. Ask yourself, when you speak from frustration, does it bring you closer or push you apart? And when you choose calmness, even if the message is difficult, what changes in the energy between you and your partner? A small exercise can help develop this. When you feel anger rise, place your hand lightly on your chest and breathe out slowly before speaking. This simple action grounds you in your own body and lowers the intensity of your tone. Speak only after the breath has settled. You will notice that your words sound different and your partner receives them differently. Over time, this practice becomes natural, and your voice carries not just sound but the calm rhythm of your heart. When speech arises from inner stillness, it is no longer controlled by mood or impulse. Stillness is the root of clarity. Many times words spoken in haste bring regret. A calm mind, however, produces words that align with wisdom. In meditation practice, we observe thoughts without chasing them. In communication, the same principle applies. Instead of letting emotions drive your words, you observe the feeling. Breathe and then choose with awareness what to say. The result is speech that reflects your higher self rather than your momentary state. Imagine a pond on a windy day. The water is stirred. Waves move in every direction, and the reflection of the trees above is broken. Nothing is clear. But when the wind stops, the surface becomes still, and suddenly the reflection is sharp, precise, beautiful. The pond has not changed, only its state has. In the same way, your words are the reflection of your mind. When your mind is disturbed, your speech is scattered and unclear. When your mind is calm, your words reflect truth and wisdom. Which reflection do you want to offer your partner? A story from the monastery demonstrates this. A young monk once asked his teacher, "Why do I struggle to choose the right words when I am upset?" The master led him to a still pond and threw in a stone. The ripples disturbed the surface, making it impossible to see clearly beneath the water. "Your words are like this pond," the master said. "When the mind is agitated, the truth beneath cannot be seen. Wait for stillness and clarity will reveal itself." The monk understood that before he could choose his words wisely, he had to calm the agitation within. This lesson applies to relationships as well. Before speaking, return to stillness. Then let your words rise naturally, carrying the clarity of a calm mind. To practice this, begin with small pauses in daily life. When you want to rush reply, give yourself a moment to feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice your breath and allow your inner waters to settle. Then speak. Over time, this pause will become natural, and you will notice how much lighter your conversations feel. You will notice that fewer words are needed, and the words you do choose reach the heart more deeply. Yet, clarity is not only about calmness, it is also about truth. There is a way of speaking that is both honest and kind, direct yet compassionate. Many believe honesty must be sharp, but sharpness often wounds more than it heals. A high-value woman understands that truth is like medicine. It may not always taste sweet, but it should be given with the intention to heal, never to harm. The difference lies in the heart from which the words arise. Think of a doctor who tells a patient their condition. One doctor speaks coldly, "You are very sick. It may get worse." The patient feels fear, despair, and helplessness. Another doctor speaks with compassion. "Your body is facing challenges. But with care, with attention, there is a way forward." The same truth is spoken, but the delivery changes everything. In relationships, the same principle applies. Saying, "You always disappoint me," crushes the spirit, but saying, "I feel hurt when my needs are ignored and I hope we can find a better way," communicates the same truth. Without destroying connection, ask yourself, how do I give truth to the one I love? Do I use it as a weapon, or do I use it as medicine? The heart behind the words decides their impact. A truth spoken with cruelty creates distance. A truth spoken with compassion creates understanding. High-value communication requires the courage to be honest and the wisdom to be kind at the same time. A useful practice here is to imagine your words as food. Before you speak, ask, "If my partner must eat these words, will they nourish or poison them?" This does not mean you avoid difficult conversations. Medicine is not always sweet, but it is necessary. The key is in how you offer it. If your intention is healing, even hard truths can be received with openness. If your intention is to wound, even gentle words will carry hidden poison. One day, a woman told me about her relationship struggles. She said, "I want to be honest, but I always end up saying things that make him withdraw." I asked her, "Do you speak your truth with the goal of being understood, or with the goal of punishing him?" She was silent. After reflection, she admitted that often she wanted him to feel the same pain she felt. This recognition changed everything for her. She realized that honesty without compassion was not true wisdom. She began practicing kindness in her tone, even when discussing her deepest frustrations. Slowly, the energy between them shifted and they found new trust. When we unite honesty with compassion, our words carry both clarity and warmth. This union creates safety in relationships. Your partner may not always agree, but they will feel that your words are not weapons. They will feel your respect. Respect is the soil in which love can grow, and words are the water that nourishes it. Without respect, truth becomes unbearable. With respect, even difficult truths can lead to growth. So notice in your own life when you speak to your soulmate. Do your words sound like thunder, or do they sound like rain nourishing the earth? Do they arise from agitation or from stillness? Do they wound or do they heal? Speech is never just communication. It is energy in motion shaping the bond between two souls. With awareness, your words can carry both strength and gentleness, calmness and truth, honesty and compassion. This is the way of inner value in communication. Every word spoken in love is like a seed. Some seeds sprout quickly, some take years, but none are without effect. A high-value woman understands that what she says today becomes part of the soil in which her relationship will grow. If she speaks with patience, encouragement, and clarity, she is planting seeds of trust, resilience, and harmony. If she chooses words filled with complaint, blame, or sarcasm, she is planting weeds that later become difficult to remove. The mind is like a garden. It remembers what has been sown, and it produces accordingly. This is why being mindful of speech is not about controlling the present moment alone, but about taking responsibility for the future of the bond. Think of a simple exchange. A partner shares a small success at work. If the response is dismissive, that's nothing special. The seed planted is disappointment, the sense of not being valued. But if the response is encouraging, "I'm proud of you," your effort shows a very different seed is sown. Over time, the dismissive words create a field of distance, while the encouraging words create a field of closeness. Neither result comes instantly, but both results grow with repetition. In training, we know that the daily effort is what shapes the body. You cannot become strong with one practice, but with many. Likewise, one kind word may seem small, but repeated often, it creates an atmosphere of safety where love can expand. A reflection to carry is this. Ask yourself each day, what seeds am I planting with my words? Before speaking, imagine the words as tiny seeds falling into the soil of your partner's heart. Will they grow into flowers of joy or into thorns of bitterness? This awareness changes the way we choose language. It makes us conscious gardeners of our relationships. In the same way that seeds planted in care produce harmony, the energy of respect creates an echo. When you speak with respect, it does not vanish. It comes back to you often multiplied. High value. Women know that respect is not conditional. It is not given only when things go well. Respect is a continuous choice, especially during conflict. It is easy to be respectful when all is calm. The true measure appears when emotions are stirred, when frustration arises, when differences seem too wide. In these moments, choosing respect creates a foundation that can hold both people safely. Imagine two partners in disagreement. One raises their voice, speaks with contempt and belittles. The other responds with sharpness. The energy between them spirals downward. Even if the conflict is resolved, the scar of disrespect remains. Now imagine the same disagreement, but this time one partner says, "I hear you. I don't agree, but I value what you're saying." The energy is completely different. Respect becomes like a mirror. What you offer reflects back. Even if your partner does not immediately return it, the seed is planted, and over time it influences the atmosphere. In martial arts, respect is the foundation of every interaction. Before and after sparring, students bow. This is not a meaningless gesture. It is a reminder that even in moments of conflict, the opponent is not an enemy but a partner in growth. Without respect, training becomes dangerous. With respect, even a strike can become a lesson. The same applies to speech in a relationship. Without respect, words become weapons. With respect, even disagreements become opportunities to understand each other more deeply. To practice this, make it a habit to include respect in your daily speech. Simple words like "thank you," "I appreciate you," or "I respect your effort" may seem small, but they create an echo. Notice how your partner responds when you speak with consistent respect, not only in big moments, but also in the ordinary. Respect spoken in small things builds trust in large things. Ask yourself, when I speak to the one I love, do my words honor their humanity, or do they reduce it? This question keeps your heart aligned with dignity. Closely tied to respect is humility. Speaking with humility does not mean lowering yourself. It means being open rather than superior. When a woman speaks with the attitude of "I already know everything," she closes the door to intimacy. When she speaks from the posture of "I am open to learning, I am open to hearing you," she deepens connection. The symbol of this humility is the empty cup. Only an empty cup can be filled. A cup already full cannot receive. When you speak to your soulmate as if you already have all the answers, you leave no space for their truth. But when you speak with curiosity and openness, you invite them to share more of themselves with you. Consider a conversation where one partner shares an idea and the other replies immediately with, "That's wrong, this is how it should be, the door is closed," the other feels unheard. Compare this to a response like, "I see it differently, but I'd like to understand how you see it." The conversation opens. Humility in speech is not weakness. It is the strength of creating space for both voices to exist. In a world where everyone is eager to be right, humility is rare and precious. A teaching story illustrates this. A wise teacher once poured tea into a student's cup until it overflowed. The student exclaimed, "Stop, the cup is full." The teacher replied, "Just like this cup, your mind is full of your own opinions. How can you learn if you do not empty it first?" In relationships, the same truth applies. If you approach every conversation with a full cup full of certainty, full of judgment, there is no room for your partner's perspective. But if you approach with humility as an empty cup, you invite connection. Practicing humility in speech can be done by asking more than telling. Instead of saying "this is how it is," try asking "how do you see this?" Instead of declaring "you don't understand me," say "let me try to explain in a way that makes sense to you." Notice how this shift changes the dynamic. It transforms speech from competition into collaboration. Reflect on this when you speak to your soulmate. Are you offering respect and humility, or are you demanding agreement and control? Every word carries energy, and the energy of superiority creates distance. The energy of humility creates closeness. Respect and humility are not about lowering yourself. They are about lifting the relationship together. They build a space where both voices matter, where both hearts feel safe to share. So consider your daily interactions. What seeds are you planting with your speech? Seeds of trust or seeds of resentment? What echoes are you sending with your words? Echoes of respect or echoes of contempt? And how open is your cup when you listen and respond? Is there space for your partner's truth? Or is it overflowing with your own certainty? These questions are not meant to create pressure, but to awaken awareness. Because the way you speak each day is not just about today. It is about the future of your relationship. The garden that will blossom in time when two people come together in love. Speech is not only about sharing thoughts. It is about creating space where both hearts feel safe to unfold. Many forget this and speak only to be heard. But true communication is not one voice filling all the air. It is the art of leaving room so that the other may step in and share their truth. Words that make space are as important as silence that listens. A woman who understands this does not speak to dominate. She speaks to invite. She does not fill every pause with sound because she knows that in the pause her partner's voice can arise. Imagine a dance where one person tries to lead every step, never allowing the other to move freely. The result is imbalance, tension, even resistance. But when both partners understand the rhythm of give and take, the dance becomes graceful, flowing, and alive. Speech follows the same principle. If one partner always takes the floor, the other feels unheard and withdraws. But when space is left, when listening becomes part of speaking, harmony appears. Consider a simple daily scene. A partner comes home clearly burdened. If one rushes into endless stories about the day without pausing to ask, "How was your day?" the partner's silence grows heavier. But if one says just enough, then asks, then listens, the relationship breathes. To speak in a way that leaves space is not silence out of fear. It is silence chosen out of love. Ask yourself, when I speak, do I leave space for the one I love to unfold, or do I crowd the air with only my own voice? To practice this, create the habit of ending some of your thoughts with an open invitation. What do you think? Or how do you feel about that? Notice how the energy shifts. Instead of a monologue, it becomes dialogue. Instead of two people speaking at each other, it becomes two people speaking with each other. This practice may seem small, but it changes the entire foundation of communication. It turns words into bridges, not barriers. Just as important as creating space with words is using words to anchor emotions. Emotions are like waves rising and falling, sometimes small, sometimes overwhelming. If left unchecked, they can crash into the relationship, creating storms. But words can serve as anchors, steadying the heart when emotions rise too high. A woman of inner strength knows how to use her voice to soothe, not inflame. She chooses phrases that cool the fire rather than feeding it. Think of a disagreement where tempers rise. One voice shouts, "You never understand me." The other replies, "You always blame me." Each phrase throws more fuel on the fire, and soon the flames consume both. But imagine instead a voice saying, "I feel upset, but I want us to find peace." These words act like an anchor. They signal a desire for stability even in the storm. The conversation may still be difficult, but it remains grounded. In training, when balance is lost, a fall is near. But if you know how to anchor yourself, you can regain stability even after being pushed. Words serve the same role in relationships. They can stop the fall, bring both partners back to balance, and allow the storm to pass without damage. To practice this, notice the phrases you use when upset. Are they filled with absolutes like always and never? These words unbalance the conversation. Replace them with grounding phrases like "I feel," "I need," or "let us." These small adjustments anchor emotions and prevent escalation. Ask yourself, when my emotions rise, do my words lift me or throw me down? Do they steady my partner or do they shake their ground? This awareness is key to emotional discipline. A relationship does not require the absence of conflict. It requires the presence of anchors that hold both people steady when conflict comes. Alongside creating space and anchoring emotions is the principle of speaking to uplift, not to impress. Many fall into the trap of using words to gain validation, to prove intelligence, to appear more than they are. But such words are heavy. They drain energy rather than nourish it. True strength is found in simplicity. When a woman of value speaks, she does not seek applause. She seeks connection. Her words do not aim to shine brighter than her partner, but to light the path they walk together. Imagine someone constantly boasting of achievements, constantly reminding their partner of how special they are. At first it may seem impressive, but over time it creates distance. The partner begins to feel small or worse, unseen. Compare this to someone who speaks simply, who shares without need for validation. Instead of saying, "Look how amazing I am," they say, "I am grateful for what I've achieved, and I hope we can share this joy." The energy shifts from self-centeredness to togetherness. A story illustrates this clearly. A young student once asked his teacher, "How can I make others respect me more?" The teacher handed him a cup of water and said, "Drink." The student drank. The teacher asked, "Did the water impress you?" The student shook his head. "No, it just refreshed me." The teacher smiled. Be like water, do not try to impress. Refresh those around you with your presence. In relationships, speech should be like water, not to impress but to refresh, to uplift, to bring life. Practice this, reflect before speaking. Am I saying this to connect or to impress? If the intention is connection, the words will carry lightness. If the intention is to impress, they will carry weight. Notice how your partner responds. Words meant to uplift are received with warmth. Words meant to show off are often met with silence or defensiveness. By choosing uplifting speech, you create an atmosphere where both feel supported, where both rise together. Reflect on these three principles. Speaking in a way that leaves space is an act of humility and love. Using words to anchor emotions is an act of discipline and care. Choosing words that uplift rather than impress is an act of authenticity and wisdom. Together they transform communication from a tool of ego into a practice of connection. So consider in your own life when you speak to your soulmate. Are you leaving them room to share, or are you filling every space with your own voice? When emotions rise, are your words anchors that steady the heart, or are they waves that crash harder? And when you speak of yourself, are your words meant to uplift or to impress? These questions invite you to look deeply at the energy you create through speech, because speech is never neutral. It always shapes the relationship either toward harmony or toward disconnection. Each word you speak is a choice. With awareness, you can choose words that create space, that steady storms, that lift both hearts higher. This is the practice of speech rooted in value, discipline, and love. Trust in a relationship is not built overnight, nor is it held together by grand gestures alone. It is the accumulation of countless small actions, quiet choices, and the integrity that holds even when no one is watching. When two people walk together in love, trust becomes the invisible thread that binds them. Without it, no matter how beautiful the surface appears, cracks form beneath, and everything slowly begins to unravel. With it, storms may come, but the bond remains strong. Think about the simplest acts: showing up when you said you would, keeping a promise even when it costs you something, protecting your partner's vulnerabilities rather than exposing them. These may seem ordinary, but it is precisely in the ordinary where trust is either strengthened or eroded. A relationship does not collapse because of one massive betrayal alone. It collapses because the foundation of trust is weakened by repeated neglect of these smaller acts. Consider how powerful it feels when someone guards your secrets. In a world where so many rush to share, to gossip, or to use information as leverage, having someone who protects what you share in confidence is priceless. This protection becomes a shield, giving you the courage to open even more deeply. On the other hand, when words you shared in intimacy are later used against you, even if small, the heart begins to close. This is why trust is sacred. It is not about perfection. It is about consistency. It is about showing your partner day after day that they are safe in your presence. There will be moments when mistakes happen, when words slip, when tempers rise, but even then, trust is not destroyed if there is honesty. To admit "I was wrong" is far more powerful than to hide or cover up. To say "I made a mistake, but I want to do better" restores more than pretending nothing happened, for trust is not about never falling. It is about always returning to truth. This truth must also extend to actions when apart. It is easy to act loyal when together, when eyes are watching. But what about when you are alone, when opportunities to stray arise, when temptations whisper? The strength of trust is proven in these unseen moments. A woman or man of value holds their commitment not because they are forced, but because they choose. That choice, invisible though it may be, creates an energy that the partner feels. You can sense when someone is grounded in loyalty, and you can sense when their words do not align with their actions. When trust is strong, the relationship becomes a refuge. Each partner can rest knowing they are not being judged unfairly, manipulated, or deceived. When trust is weak, even the smallest action sparks suspicion. A delayed reply to a message becomes a seed of doubt. A glance at someone else becomes fuel for insecurity. Without trust, love suffocates under constant questioning. With trust, love breathes freely because both know they stand on solid ground. Another element that strengthens this ground is patience. In an age where everything moves fast, where instant gratification is demanded, patience becomes rare. And yet it is one of the greatest gifts one can give a relationship. Love does not grow on command. It unfolds like a tree, slowly, season by season. There are times of blossom, but there are also winters when everything seems barren. Without patience, these winters are mistaken for endings. With patience, they are understood as part of growth. Patience means giving space for your partner to evolve, to stumble, to find their own way. It means not demanding immediate perfection, but walking beside them as they become. Many relationships fail not because love was absent, but because patience was absent. One partner expected the other to be everything right now, forgetting that true growth takes time. Just as a seed does not become a tree in a day, neither does a human being become their highest self overnight. Think about your own life. How many mistakes have you made on the path to who you are today? How many times did you need grace, understanding, or simply time to learn? To offer patience to another is to recognize that you too needed it once. Is to say, I see your effort and I am willing to wait with you. This does not mean tolerating harm or neglect, but it does mean not abandoning someone the moment they struggle. Patience also applies in moments of conflict. In anger, words can be sharp and impulsive. Without patience, arguments escalate quickly, fueled by reactions instead of reflections. With patience, there is a pause, a breath, a chance to choose better words, to listen more carefully. In that pause, harmony can be restored before damage is done. There is a story of two monks walking through a forest. One was older, calm and steady. The other was young, fairy, and impatient. As they walked, the younger monk constantly complained, pointing out every discomfort, every difficulty. Finally, he asked the elder, "Why do you not get angry? Why do you not complain?" The elder replied, "Because I know that this moment will pass. To waste my peace on something passing is foolish." Relationships thrive when both partners learn this wisdom, that struggles are temporary, that storms pass, that patience allows the bond to survive what impatience would destroy. Alongside trust and patience stands the third pillar, encouragement. To encourage someone is not just to cheer them on when they succeed, but to remind them of their strength when they doubt, to believe in them when they forget to believe in themselves. Encouragement is the oxygen of love. It breathes life into the relationship, making each partner feel seen, valued, and capable. Words of encouragement may seem small, but their impact is immense. Imagine someone doubting themselves before a challenge, thinking they are not enough. Then their partner says, "I believe in you. You've done hard things before, and you will do this too." Those words can be the difference between giving up and moving forward. Encouragement plants courage. It transforms insecurity into confidence, not by solving the problem for the person, but by reminding them of the strength they already carry. Encouragement also deepens intimacy. When your partner knows that in moments of doubt they will not be mocked, compared, or belittled, but instead lifted, their heart opens wider. They know they are safe to dream, safe to risk, safe to be vulnerable. This safety becomes the soil where both can grow higher than they could alone. But encouragement must be sincere. Empty praise given without thought eventually loses power. True encouragement requires listening deeply to what your partner is facing, understanding their fears, and speaking directly to them. It is not just saying you'll be fine, but reminding them specifically of their past strength, their unique gifts, and your faith in them. Encouragement also requires balance. It is not about flattery that ignores reality, but about pointing to the truth of someone's potential even in difficulty. For example, when a partner fails, encouragement does not deny the failure. It says, yes, this was hard, but it does not define you. You are more than this moment. I know you will rise again. Such words carry honesty and hope together, making them powerful. Think of how encouragement feels when received. The heaviness of doubt begins to lift. The burden of fear grows lighter. A spark of strength is rekindled. Many people go through life with voices of criticism surrounding them. When they come home to a partner who offers encouragement instead, it feels like finding water in a desert. It is nourishment not only for the mind, but also for the soul. In truth, encouragement is a form of love in action. It is choosing to invest words and energy into another person's growth, knowing that their rise benefits you both. A woman or man who understands this does not withhold encouragement out of pride or fear of making the other too confident. They give it freely because love does not compete. It multiplies. When trust, patience, and encouragement come together, a relationship becomes unshakable. Trust gives it safety, patience gives it endurance, encouragement gives it life. Without one of these, imbalance begins. Without trust there is fear, without patience there is pressure, without encouragement there is stagnation. But with all three, love flourishes, not as a fleeting feeling, but as a steady bond that grows deeper with time. Reflect then on your own journey. Do your daily actions, however small, strengthen trust or weaken it? Do you offer patience to your partner's process, or do you demand instant perfection? Do your words breathe encouragement, or do they add to the weight of doubt they already carry? These are not abstract questions. They are choices made in every conversation, every reaction, every day. The strength of a relationship does not depend on the absence of struggle, but on how these struggles are navigated. Trust steadies the path, patience keeps you walking when progress is slow, and encouragement ensures that neither loses heart. These qualities are not gifts you wait to receive. They are practices you choose to give, and when both partners give them, love not only survives, it thrives. There are times in life when words become like medicine. The right words at the right moment have the power to soften pain, to remind someone that they are not alone to guide the heart back toward balance. Just as a hand laid gently on the shoulder can bring comfort without solving every problem, words too can offer that same healing touch. It is not the length of the speech that matters, but the sincerity carried within. A whisper of kindness can heal more than a long explanation filled with cleverness. When someone you love is weighed down, it is tempting to rush in with solutions to try to fix what feels broken. But often they do not need fixing. They need to feel heard. They need to feel safe. They need to know they are not walking through their struggle alone. Healing words do not rush. They do not impose. They simply say, I am here with you. And those simple words can steady a heart more than any instruction. Consider the times when someone has said something harsh to you in a moment of pain. The wound of those words lingers even after the situation has passed. Now reflect on a time when someone spoke with compassion when they told you, I see you. I understand this is hard. Those words remain as well, but in a very different way. They strengthen, they give hope. This is the power of words as healing touch. They leave behind a memory that continues to nurture long after the moment has ended. The practice then is to become more conscious of the energy you transmit when you speak. Before offering words, pause and ask, will this heal or will this harm? If the answer is unclear, silence is often the better choice. Healing speech requires presence. It requires that you put aside your own agenda, your own impatience, and simply offer the gift of being fully with the other. This too is healing, and yet silence itself holds its own wisdom. Sometimes the most profound communication happens when no words are spoken at all. In a world filled with noise, silence can feel uncomfortable at first, but silence is not emptiness. It is a space. In that space, hearts can connect more deeply than through words. Imagine two people sitting together saying nothing, yet both feeling completely understood. This is not absence. This is presence at its purest. When silence is intentional, it carries great power. It allows emotions to settle, clarity to emerge, and truth to reveal itself without force. Think of water that becomes clear when you stop stirring it. The same happens with the mind and the heart. In silence, what is real rises gently to the surface. For a relationship, this means that sometimes the greatest act of love is not to speak, but to hold the space in which the other feels free to be. Many are afraid of silence, believing it signals distance or disinterest. But in truth, silence can be the highest form of speech. It can say, "I trust you enough not to fill this space with unnecessary words. I am comfortable with simply being here." This kind of silence strengthens intimacy rather than weakening it. It requires courage because silence reveals. Without distractions, what is unspoken becomes visible. But if both are willing to sit in that stillness, the connection deepens beyond language. Silence also disciplines the ego. When one feels the urge to argue, to prove to dominate with words, choosing silence becomes a form of mastery. It is saying, "I will not allow anger to control me. I will wait until I can speak with clarity." This restraint prevents wounds that careless words could create. It transforms potential conflict into an opportunity for patience and understanding. There is a story of a teacher who, when insulted, remained quiet. His students asked why he did not respond. He said, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, where does the gift remain?" In the same way, silence refuses to receive anger, refuses to pass on poison. It ends the cycle before it begins. In relationships, this wisdom preserves harmony and protects the sacred bond from unnecessary damage. Alongside healing words and meaningful silence, there is another practice that sustains lover gratitude in daily speech. Gratitude is more than saying thank you out of habit. It is a conscious recognition of the value another brings to your life. In relationships, it is easy to become blind to the everyday efforts of your partner, the meals prepared, the listening ear, the small acts of care. They can become invisible over time if not acknowledged. Gratitude brings them back into light. When you express gratitude, you tell your partner, "I see what you do, and I do not take it for granted." These words strengthen connection more than grand declarations spoken rarely. A simple, "I appreciate how you always check if I've eaten," carries warmth that nourishes the bond. It may appear small, but repeated consistently, it builds a deep sense of being valued. Without gratitude, even great love begins to feel dry. With gratitude, even small gestures become great. Consider a garden. Without water it with us, no matter how beautiful the soil once was. Gratitude is like water. Without it, love fades. Even if it began strong, with it, love continues to bloom season after season. Gratitude does not require extraordinary circumstances. It is found in the ordinary, a shared meal, a supportive glance, a hand held in silence. To notice and to speak of these moments is to keep love alive. The habit of gratitude also transforms the speaker. When you train your mind to see what is good rather than only what is lacking, your energy changes. You become lighter, more generous, more peaceful. In a relationship, this energy radiates, influencing both partners. Instead of focusing on flaws or disappointments, attention shifts toward blessings, and what you focus on grows. By speaking gratitude, you invite more moments to be grateful for. Gratitude also protects against resentment. Resentment grows when efforts are unseen, when sacrifices go unacknowledged. But when both partners speak gratitude regularly, resentment finds no soil in which to grow. Each feels recognized, valued, and motivated to give more. Gratitude becomes a cycle that sustains itself. One gives the other thanks, and the giving continues. To practice, pause each day and ask it, "What is one thing my partner did today that I am thankful for?" Speak it aloud, write it in a note, whisper it before sleep. These simple acts shift the energy of the relationship in powerful ways. Gratitude does not wait for perfection. It celebrates what is already present, and in doing so, it opens the door for even more love to enter. Reflect on your own journey. When did someone's words feel like healing in your life? How did silence, when respected, bring peace rather than fear? And how has gratitude spoken sincerely changed the way you felt in a relationship? These are not abstract questions. They are experiences you have already tasted, reminders of truths you already know. The task is to bring them into daily practice, to make them part of the way you live and love. Healing words remind us that we are not alone. Silence reminds us that presence is deeper than speech.